So dear students, in this video we'll see the demonstration of a sternum bone. So sternum is a median bone which lies at the crossroad between your axial skeletal as well as the appendicular skeletal. The name sternum is derived from a Greek word meaning thereby is a sword or a knife. So if you look at the sternum, see you have got this upper part of the sternum which looks like a handle of a sword. The middle part, also known as the body of the sternum, it looks like a blade of the knife or a sword, and this lower part known as the xiphoid process looks like a tip of this blade. So basically the sternum is made up of three parts: the upper part, that is the manubrium sterni; the middle part, what is known as the body of the sternum, or also known as the mesosternum. This upper manubrium is also known as the prosternum, and the lower triangular part, what is known as the xiphoid process or the xiphisternum, also known as the metasternum. This manubrium lies opposite to the T3 and T4 thoracic vertebra, while this body lies opposite to the T5 to T8 vertebra, that is 8th thoracic vertebra, while xiphoid process lies in relation to the disc of a T8 to T9 thoracic vertebra. So it lies opposite to this if you correlate this sternum posteriorly with the vertebral column. Now we'll see one by one. First we'll see this is what is known as the manubrium sterni or the manubrium. So the manubrium has got the anterior surface, it has got the posterior surface, it has got two surfaces, and it has got the four borders. This is its superior border. On this other side it has got the lateral border, and inferiorly you have got the inferior border. Now if you see the superior border of this manubrium is having a notch in its middle part. This notch is known as the sternal notch, or also known as the jugular notch. On either side of the notch you have got an articular facet on either side. This is known as the clavicular notch, and it articulates with the medial end of the clavicle to form what is known as the sternoclavicular joint, which is a saddle variety of a synovial joint. So this is how the superior border is comprised of. Inferior border, it's a small part and it articulates with the body of this sternum to form what is known as the manubriosternal joint, which is a secondary cartilaginous joint, and that joint forms at some angle. If you see the location of this body with that to the manubrium, there is a formation of its angle, and that's why this lower border or this junction is known as the sternal angle, or it is also known as the sternal angle of the Lewis. And it's an important bony landmark because many structures in the thorax, there are changes at this level. Further, if you see the anterior surface, if you see the anterior surface, it is concave or convex. If you see it, if you trace it from side by side, it is convex, but if you trace it from above downwards, it is concave. If you see, it is above downwards, it is concave, while side by side it is convex. Posteriorly, if you see the posterior surface, it is smooth and it is concave from above downwards. While the lateral border, if you see further, in its upper and the lower part, it is articular in nature, while in middle part, it is non-articular. The upper articular facet articulates with the first costal cartilage to form a primary cartilaginous joint, while in lower part, this area is having a half facet or demi-facet for the second costal cartilage. So this is about the manubrium. Now if you see the attachment which are there on the manubrium on anterior surface, this region, this part, it gives origin to the muscle, that is the sternal fibers of the sternocleidomastoid muscles. While in lower part, this area on either side gives origin to the muscle, that is pectoralis major muscle. Posteriorly, if you see in the upper middle part, you have got the origin of the muscle, that is sternohyoid muscle, while in lower lateral part, you have got the origin of the muscle, that is sternothyroid muscle. Now in lower half of this manubrium, the posteriorly this portion is related to the arch of aorta, and from it the brachiocephalic trunk as well as the common carotid artery and the left subclavian artery arises. If you see the lateral border, in the middle part, it gives attachment to what is known as the external intercostal membrane as well as the internal intercostal muscles. The superior surface in relation to the sternal notch, it gives attachment to the two layers of the investing layer of the deep cervical fascia. And inferiorly, as I have told, it forms the sternal angle. So this is in nutshell about the manubrium. Now we'll move with the further with the body part of the sternum. So this is the body part of the sternum. It is a flat structures. If you see in its upper part, it is narrow, while if you trace it downwards, it becomes the broader, and the maximum breadth is at the level of this area, which is over here where lies the fifth costal cartilage. So at this level it has got the maximum breadth. It has got the anterior surface, it has got the smooth posterior surface, and it has got the lateral border. So if you see the anterior surface, it is rough, and sometimes you can mark a 3 transverse line in relation to these structures. This is because of it signifies that the ossification has occurred from 1, 2, 3 and the 4 different part, which are known as the sternibra. If you see the posterior surface, it is smooth, concave. If you see the lateral border, if you see in its upper part, it has got the half facet for the second costal cartilage, then for the third costal cartilage, fourth costal cartilage, fifth, over here lies the sixth one, and then you have got the half facet for the seventh costal cartilage. In between them, you have got the non-articular area where there is an attachment of the external intercostal membrane as well as the internal intercostal muscle. Anteriorly, if you see this anterior surface on either side, it is related or it gives origin to the muscles, that is the pectoralis major fibers. Posteriorly, if you see this posterior surface, it is related to the pleura and the lung. On the right side, it is continuously related to the anterior border of the right lung as well as the right pleura, while on left side in its upper part it is related to the left lung and left pleura, while in its lower part it is directly in relation to the pericardium of the heart. And this pericardium of the heart is attached to the sternum via what is known as the sternopericardial ligament. You have got the superior and the inferior sternopericardial ligament, while this lateral margin gives origin to the muscle, that is sternocostalis. So this is regarding the body of the sternum. Now below the body, this triangular area, it is known as the xiphoid process. So if you see the level of the xiphoid process, it lies deeper than that level of the body of the sternum. It is triangular in shape. It has got the two lateral margins, then and a tip, and then it has got the anterior surface as well as the posterior surface. So anterior surface gives attachment in its lower part on either side to the fibers of the rectus abdominis muscle, while laterally it gives attachment to the aponeurosis of the external oblique muscle as well as the internal oblique muscles. The lateral border gives attachment to the aponeurosis of the internal oblique as well as the transverse abdominis muscle, while posterior surface in its lower part on either side, it gives origin to the fibers of the diaphragm. If you see this tip, tips is related to the linea alba. So this is regarding the attachment which is there on the xiphoid process. Now some few words regarding the ossifications. If you see the sternum, it ossifies from the different parts, and if you see it further, see each sternum has got the right and left half, and this half unites in the midline to form a joint to form the whole sternum. The manubrium, it is derived from the ossification center. Two ossification centers are there in the manubrium. They appear during the 4th to 5th month, and they ultimately unite to form a single bone, what is known as the manubrium. The sternum, body of the sternum, it is derived from the 1, 2, 3 and 4 sternibras, and in first and second sternibra they have got a single ossification center, while for third and fourth you have got the two ossification center, and they ultimately fuse in the caudal to cranial direction, while whole plate fuses in the cranial to caudal direction. So right and left plate fusion occurs from cranial to caudal, while this individual sternibra, they fuse from lower part to from, you can say, from the caudal to the cranial direction. And then you have got the xiphoid process, which appears somewhere around the 3rd year, and then it gets fused with the sternum to form what is ultimately form a single unit by the age of 40 years. So this is regarding the ossification. Now few points regarding the clinical aspect of the sternum. Now, if you see the sternum, you know that the manubrium part, or you can the sternum part, it is a site where you have got the bone marrow is there in even in the future life. So this manubrium is being punctured for the collection of the bone marrow. There is always a movement which at the level of manubrium-sternum joint, in which is helpful during the respiration. Further, if there is a non-fusion of this plate on either side, then this portion remains open and the heart is exposed anteriorly, or you can say it remains open. So what is known as the ectopia cordis is there. If there is a deficiency of the vitamin D, or you can the rickets is there, so in that case this chest wall, it becomes like a pigeon chest, and it is known as the pigeon chest. So in case of pigeon chest, there is a forward projection of the center part, like a you can say like a keel of a boat, and the remaining chest wall becomes flattened on either side. While in case of the another anomaly where the sternum is get depressed, it is known as the funnel chest. If there is a non-fusion in any part, it gives rise to the malformation, and if there is a non-fusion of the, you can say the Gifford process also, it will give rise to what is known as the different malformation, like the sternal foramina, or you can have the bifid Gifford process, like anomalies can occur. So this is regarding the sternum. Further, if you recap it, this is the manubrium, this is the body, this is the Gifford process, this one is your sternal angle. On this is superiorly, this is the suprasternal notch. On either side you have got the clavicular notch. This is your first notch for the first costal cartilage to form what is known as the primary cartilaginous joint. At the sternal angle you have got the secondary cartilaginous joint. Over here lies the second costal cartilage. This is for the third, fourth, fifth. This is for the sixth costal cartilage. This is over here the seventh costal cartilage. So these are the costal cartilage for the true ribs which are over here. Thank you.